What happened? Yo, what's up? Where's Joseph? There's no back there.
All right, guys, so some of you had sent me some shocking footage, some shocking, very, very, very sad footage of African immigrants, right, including women and children being denied the ability to leave Ukraine. They're basically stranded in Ukraine. There's videos of African women being forced off of the trains that are evacuating Ukraine, that are evacuating people out of the country during this war that's going on, right, in favor of Ukrainians, right? White people. Okay, that's the way it's being framed on social media. Okay, and Indians are also experiencing this as well too, but they don't talk about that as much because it's not as shocking and controversial as black people and Africans being denied entry because they want to get the whites out first, right? So some of you guys have sent me this footage and you want me to talk about it and you want me to react to it. So I am actually going to talk about it and react to it because I think this is a good opportunity to really explain to people how the world works, because a lot of people are not thinking about this in the right way, right? They're thinking about it through the lens of race instead of thinking about it through the lens of your nationality, right, and allegiance to country. But before we get into this, let's go ahead and play a news clip with more information about this incident from the BBC so that you guys can get a thorough understanding of what's going on. Take a look.
We've been reporting a little earlier, hundreds of thousands of people attempting to actually flee Ukraine. We've seen huge crowds at train stations and various other avenues out, but there have been some reports on social media of people of African and Indian descent having particular problems. So let's get more on this aspect of our story with our South Asia editor, Lipka Pelham, who's here in the studio with me. And I know you've been looking at this throughout the course of the day, looking at social media, looking at pictures. But what have you been seeing and hearing?
Well, Matthew, tens of thousands of African and Indian students are stranded at the Polish border. So they tried to board trains, and social media footage shows that they're being stopped by Ukrainian officials from boarding the trains. And this one particular footage just went viral on Indian media. And I think the one you are watching is, I think is one with involving African students, where they're being told, you can't board this train, and they were being told to sit down, and you could hear a voice saying, "Don't do this to us. Are you doing this because we are black?" And you could see a woman feeding a baby. So even women with babies are not being allowed to board these trains. So the testimonies, there are too many testimonies to discount now. And we have also seen footage going viral on Indian media with one particular student, a Malayali student from Kerala. A medical student is saying that she was being beaten up by the officials, and her fellow students also alleged the same complaint and said that we are being mistreated and being pushed aside, and the Ukrainians are being allowed to board first and we're being sort of left behind.
Now, I know you've been chasing some sort of response from the Ukrainian authorities, given everything that we're seeing and the confusion and the difficulties of that. Have you had any sort of response from the authorities in terms of their explanation in terms of what is happening?
No, I have left several messages and I'm still waiting to hear a response. But I think some of the Indian students allege that the Ukrainian officials have turned them back because of Indian government's response at the Security Council, because India has abstained from condemning the invasion of Ukraine by Russian forces. So Indian students say that this is in retaliation, for that decision that India has taken.
All right, guys, so you've seen that, you heard that, okay? So allegedly, Ukrainian officials and soldiers, right, are denying Africans and Indians the opportunity to leave the country, okay? They're evacuating Ukrainians first. Now, again, this has created a problem because Africans make up more than 20% of Ukraine's international students. So a lot of those people are there to study medicine. They're there for whatever reason, mostly educational, and that's why they're in the country, okay? And again, there's a whole lot of cries about racism that are going on social media, and people saying, these are black people being treated bad. White people are getting preference over blacks. This is clear-cut racism, right? And listen, I'm not going to say that race is not a factor here. I'm not going to say it's not a factor. But when you're thinking about stuff like this, I want people to take a step back, right? Take a step back. Imagine if the United States was invaded by a foreign country and our soldiers and officials had to evacuate people out of the country. Let's say they had to evacuate us to, I don't know, Mexico or Canada or whatever, right? Who do you think they're going to let across the border first? Who do you think they're going to get out of the country first? Are they going to get immigrants who are not American out of the country first? Or are they going to get Americans out of the country first? Okay? In that situation, who would you want them to get out of the country first? Would you want them to put you to the back of the line as an American and say, hey, you know what? We're going to make you stay while our country is being invaded. You could possibly die, right? And we're going to let these people who are not American across the border first because, I don't know, they're women and children, right? Or because we don't want to be racist. Is that what you want? Would you be cool with that? I'm pretty sure most Americans would not be cool with that. So again, people are crying about Ukrainian soldiers letting their people out of the country first, taking care of their people first, right? That's what we gotta say. That's what's going on here, because the story is not that they're keeping Ukrainian blacks, like black Africans that are Ukrainian citizens, from leaving. That's not the story. It's they're keeping African immigrants, people who are not actually citizens, and Indians as well too. Gotta throw them in there too. So the people that are not citizens of that country, yeah, they gotta wait. You gotta wait to the back of the line, because guess what? Our country is currently being invaded. We want to get our people out first. We want to save our people first. How can you blame them for doing that? Because if the United States were in the same situation, I would want the United States to do that. I would want them to get Americans out first. Americans got to come first before anybody else, right? Now, if that situation is happening and, you know, they're getting Americans out and they're prioritizing Americans by race, then yeah, that's a problem, right? Obviously, that's a problem, but that's not what's happening here. Again, I'm not saying race is not a factor, but what I'm saying is the main factor is nationality. It's not the race, it's nationality. It's we're going to save our people first and everybody else will come second. Okay? You know who's responsible for saving those people that are stranded there, those African and Indian folks? The countries that they're from, right? The countries that they're from are the ones that are responsible for saving them. Okay? If you're stranded anywhere in the world as an American, right? And this is why, you know, these people who all say they hate America and America this, America that, they don't understand how blessed they are to be an American. This is a prime example of how blessed you are to be an American. If you're stranded anywhere in the world as an American, maybe not in Afghanistan particularly, right? Maybe not Afghanistan now, but for the most part, if you're stranded, if you contact the American embassy, they're going to get you out for the most part. They're going to try their best to get you out, okay? America is going to look out for their people abroad no matter what color you are. No matter what skin color you are, they're going to look out for you, right? If there's issues going on in that country, American embassy is going to make sure we get Americans out. Y'all got to go, right? At the very least, they're going to tell Americans that, hey, y'all need to leave ahead of time, okay? But what is happening in Ukraine with these African immigrants, some of them from Nigeria, some of them from South Africa, Zimbabwe, some of these places in Africa, their embassies and their countries have failed them. The leadership in their countries have failed them. For example, in Nigeria, right? There are people, Nigerians, basically going to social media and saying, hey, we don't have any information from the Nigerian government. The Nigerian government is not communicating with us, right? The Nigerian government has abandoned us. Zimbabwe, they don't even have an embassy in Ukraine, okay? Now, there are other African countries like Morocco and Egypt that told their students to get the hell out of there 2 weeks ago, right? When they first started warning about a Russian invasion being imminent, Morocco and Egypt told their folks, hey, y'all gotta go, right? You need to get the hell out of there, right? And currently, for the Egyptians that are still left there, the Egyptian embassy and the Ukrainian officials are working together to get them out, right? And that's what they're supposed to do. Just like right now, the U.S. embassy is telling any Americans in Russia, get the hell out, go, leave, okay? Just like we told Americans in Ukraine 2 weeks ago to leave, to go. And we evacuated our staff and got them out of there. But again, you have these African countries like Nigeria, Zimbabwe, some of these other countries that, you know, hey, They're corrupt, okay? And they're not taking care of their people abroad. It's nobody else's fault. You can't blame Ukrainians for saying we're going to take care of Ukrainians before we take care of Africans, right? You can't blame Ukrainians for that. You got to blame the countries that these people are from, because it is their country's job to get them out of those countries, to take care of them, period. So again, these people that are crying racism, blah, 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 blah. And I'm not saying race ain't a part of it. All I'm saying is that you got to understand the reality of the world. That people from across the world, they're going to take care of their own people first, right? Period. And if this happened in some African country, let's say Nigeria, and the Nigerians was like, hey, we're letting Nigerians across the border first. We're evacuating Nigerians first. And the Europeans, the whites, they got to stay back. They got to wait in line. I would be saying the same exact thing. Like, hey, it is what it is. They taking care of their people first. That's how it should be. This is why I'm America first. When I'm like, yo, when it comes to international relations, when it comes to all this other stuff, I want Americans to be prioritized over everybody else. I don't care. Because I'm down for my folk, my people, right? Black, white, whoever. You my people if you're American. So if something happened, I'm going to ride or die for you. I'm going to be with you against anybody else in the world. I don't care what skin color they are. I'm with America first. You my people. Ukraine basically doing the same thing, right? They're doing the exact same thing. So again, when people want to pass the blame here and they want to cry about racism, what they actually really need to be doing is asking, why are these African governments that have their students there, why are they not doing more to get them out? Why weren't they getting their students out 2 weeks, 3 weeks beforehand when we were warned about this, right? That's the real question. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.